Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Leslie.
And welcome back to Addicted to the Mouse. So we are talking about our biggest financial mistakes today.
Yes, we have made many, and predominantly those came in the form of vehicles.
So we are going to talk through the three biggest kind of pockets of money, or where most people spend money. First one is housing, second one is transportation, and third one is generally food, but we're not that bad there, so we're going to talk about kind of everything else. You ready?
I'm ready. Before we get into all of our dumb financial mistakes, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any future episodes.
Okay, so what you won't hear on this video is one thing that we have spent a lot of money on in the past and we continue to spend a lot of money on, and that is travel.
Yes, we love to travel, and as we've mentioned in the previous two videos, that is something that we are trying to get to where we can do more of. So the money we spend on travel, I don't really feel like is a mistake for us.
That's right. We don't consider that a financial mistake, even though it is a big financial expense. So we understand that by spending money on travel, we are delaying the inevitable, and we are definitely trading some time for those experiences, but we value those experiences so much that that is our trade-off. So we understand that. Now, what we are doing is looking and doing travel hacking more, and we'll talk about that in a future video. But for now, we just want to understand that we acknowledge that we spend a lot of money on travel and get that out there.
Yes.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is housing. We have made numerous mistakes in housing. We built our first house back in 2003, and it was actually a fairly modest house.
Yes, so we started out, I guess, atypical from normal 20-somethings that have just gotten married, and we actually built our first home. We never rented a place together. So prior to that, I was at college. I finished a year after Dan. And you had an apartment with some friends for a little bit prior to us getting married, but whenever we moved in together, it was in a home that we had built.
That's right. I worked in residential construction, so it was actually more beneficial for us financially to build a house because I saved on those costs. So I was my own contractor, and I finished several parts of that first house ourselves. Where the problem comes in is that we have taken out 3 equity lines of credit over the last 16 years. So the first one came right after we closed on that first house. First house, so we're 38 years old. The first house, what was that? 2003, so 16 years ago. And so we moved in and we didn't have a lot of the stuff that normal homeowners have when they move in because we had just got married, just got out of college. So we needed lawnmower, we didn't have any landscaping, furniture, and so we took out an equity line of credit to do that. However, we took out way more than we probably needed, and we ended up building a barn with it, bought a brand new tractor with it, of which I mowed the grass. So probably didn't need that. And then we actually ended up paying off your car with it, and we'll talk about more when we get into transportation of that.
Yes.
So first mistake was that equity line of credit because second mistake with the first house is we didn't put any money down. So we used the equity that I had built in, the sweat equity, and we used that as the down payment, which forced us to get 2 loans, a first and a second at the time. Again, this was 2003, so pre-2008 stuff. And then when we did the line of credit, we rolled that into the second loan, and then that had an adjustable rate mortgage with it, so the interest rate started off low and then it kept creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. And what started out as like a $350 a month loan payment on that equity line, just that equity line, by the time we sold that house and moved to the house that we're in now, turned out to be over $700 a month.
Yes, so that was not a very smart decision, but we had some nice things. Okay, so we corrected most of that mistake by actually selling that house. And we ended up losing about $10,000 on the sale of that house, but it was a lot better than it probably could have been.
That's true. So you thought we would have learned our lesson, but no, we built a bigger house.
Yes, because we decided My parents actually bought a large piece of land and deeded us 2 acres of it. So we didn't have to pay for the land portion, but we thought that this was going to be the house that we stayed in forever. So we bought or built way bigger than what we will ever possibly need and are now kind of kicking ourselves for it.
So in this house, we've lived here 12 years, going on
almost 13.
13 years, and that part is good. But the fact that we built this is 4,300 square feet, of which we use about a third of that and always have. We built way bigger. We thought we would grow into it. We have 2 kids. We didn't. So it's for sale now. We do have some equity in it, so that's good. However, along the way, we took out 2 more equity lines of credit. The first one, and this is giant, huge mistake number 2, is that we took out a $70,000 equity loan. Now I will say we had the land for free and I built it myself again and I had a ton of discounts and things, so, you know, look at it how you will, it was a mistake for sure. But $70,000 to invest in a home building business that eventually ended up failing.
Yes, so we basically just lost all of that money, just flushed it right down the toilet.
So we, you know.
But, you have to spend money to make money, taking risks.
Unfortunately, we didn't make money.
We didn't make money, but it was one of those things that we felt like it was a really good investment at the time, and it just didn't end up panning out.
So one thing to mention on all these mistakes is that it is in the past. We cannot change any of them, and so we are focused on moving forward. But we do want to acknowledge everything we've done in the past and how we have set ourselves behind where we could be much further ahead if we started this journey earlier.
Yes.
All right, giant mistake number 3.
I don't know if I called this one a mistake.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we decided to put in a pool. We wanted to maximize our time at home. We have a really beautiful backyard and we knew the kids would love it. So we took out another equity loan in order to pay for the cost of that pool. And that one was how much?
So the pool, the equity line, we did put a little cash down on that one. So the equity line was only about $55,000. I will say that, which will never get the cost of the pool back, but I will say the fact that we put some cash down did help. I won't call this, like you, I won't call this a huge I won't call it a huge mistake, but it was a financial mistake in terms of just dollar cost benefit and getting our money back out of it, because we'll never do that. I mean, the pool is over $70,000 and we may get $25,000, $30,000 of actual value when we do end up selling for that.
Right, but much like the travel, I looked at the pool as a way of making memories and having great experiences with our family, and so that's why I don't look at it as an overall mistake, but looking at it financially, yes.
That's true. So to wrap up the housing section, we have made what we consider 3 bigger mistakes when it comes to our housing costs, and then the one that we're currently in that we're trying to rectify is there's just the fact that we're paying way too much a month because we don't need it, we don't use it.
Yes, so we're hoping that our house will sell soon and that we can cut those costs in half.
Okay, the bad one. Transportation.
Okay, so we kind of have this weird love of... We had this weird love of bartering and purchasing new cars. There was this immense satisfaction that we both got from going and looking at different cars, test driving them, and that whole experience of, bartering it out with the salesperson. So...
care to hazard a guess how many cars we have purchased in the 16 years and 2 or 3 months that we've been together?
Okay, I'm just gonna take a random guess because I did not do the research here on this one. You did. I'm gonna say it's somewhere around 15.
23.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
Now, I guess 4 of those, 2 of them were before we got married, and 2 of them we had when we got married. So, but still, 23.
Ooh.
With 38. So if you do the math on that, that's not good.
That we've only been able to drive for 22 years. So.
And what hurts even worse is that the majority of these things we bought new.
Yes.
So, okay, so real quick, we're not gonna go through all of these, but we will touch on some of the bigger mistakes. So, the first few, when we were 16 up through college, between us we had 5 cars. 2 of those were brand new. 3 of them were probably smarter purchases. Of the 2 that were brand new, we both paid them off by the time we were married, so that was good.
Yes.
And then we got stupid.
Yeah, and we were fortunate. Well, I don't know if we could say fortunate, but how we were able to pay those off is that we both came into some inheritance from the passing.
You did. I worked and paid. Remember when we got married? Like I was trying to pay off that truck as much as possible. So
that truck was a little ridiculous, though.
It was not. Anyway, it was a brand new truck. We won't argue about that here. It was a mistake. All right, so once we got married, we realized that we were double income, no kids. So what should we do? Let's go get a big car payment.
Yes, and initially we thought, oh, we're gonna have all these children, so let's make this huge car purchase be a Nissan Armada, brand new, that can hold like 8 people.
And got like 13 miles a gallon. It was wonderful. So
I would just like for everyone out there to picture that I'm 5'2", and so driving this giant Nissan Armada with no children in it was maybe a little ridiculous.
Bought it for $38,000. Realized we were paying a lot of money in gas, and sold it for about a $21,000 loss 3 years later.
Yes.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward, we bought all kinds of new cars. I bought a $38,000 brand new Avalanche. Here's one. Because I wanted to reminisce about older cars, I bought a 25th anniversary Corvette, which I thought was a great deal just to drive around on weekends. It was only $12,000, not realizing that it had a salvage title at the time. I know, and ended up not being able to sell it for half of what I bought it for.
And on top of that, I was pregnant at the time whenever he purchased it, so getting in and out of that thing was interesting. And then once we had baby, we didn't drive around together in it on the weekends because it didn't have a back seat.
So, fast forward to now, we haven't bought a new car in 3 years. We just paid off.
Go us!
We just paid off Leslie's car. Unfortunately, it was new when we bought it, so we weren't the smartest decision makers then, but we have paid it off, and we are going to drive it till the wheels fall off. For me, I am lucky enough right now to have a vehicle provided from my work, and so we only need the one car. So what started off as a huge financial drain on our budget, with us each buying new cars all the time, about every year we were trading off in each other one getting a new one, has now kind of leveled out, and we hope we're on the right trajectory there.
Yes. We've had a lot of fun with those cars. We had a Dodge Charger at one point that our oldest always called Bumblebee. We had a custom-built truck that Dan wanted. We had an Audi for a little bit. So we've definitely had some really fun cars. And they were all mistakes. But it is, like Dan mentioned before, there are mistakes in the past, and so we're just going to wipe that slate clean and try to make smarter decisions moving forward.
So we are keeping ourselves accountable on this video, and we are going to go back and watch it from time to time and remind ourselves that we're not going to do that again.
And I'm really embarrassed that all of you know that we have had 23 cars since we have been 16.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about all of our other dumb moves. So, for the first about 7 years of our working life, we didn't really put much away for retirement.
Yeah, so my full-time job didn't offer a retirement plan, and I had actually listened to Dave Ramsey, but it was more on the pay off bills. We are going to do some financial wins that we've had in our life next week probably, so just real quick on those, we never carried credit card debt, so we did follow some of those principles. But I opened, about the only thing that we did do was I opened a Roth IRA, which had, I think over those 7 years, I put about $4,000 in, which wasn't great.
Yeah.
You had a very small retirement account, but you were working part-time at the hospital most of that time, so that really didn't build up. And then I was in the military, but I was only part-time, so it was a very, very small percentage of income that was going in there.
And we really didn't see the value, I guess, in maximizing, and we didn't understand the value in maximizing how much we put away for retirement. And so we kind of just did the bare minimum whenever we would have that option at work, because we wanted to be able to take home more money to buy cars.
And other crap. Another great thing that I thought it would be fun to do is take helicopter lessons. I don't know. It was fun. It was about $800 a month, and luckily it only lasted for about 3 or 3.5 months before I realized it was done. But it's literally flushing money down the toilet.
I just have to say, thankfully, we never actually purchased a helicopter.
That was in the long-term plan.
That was in the long-term plan.
Next. What? Next.
All right, so fast forwarding to now, some things that are probably not really smart investments of our money is we have a gym membership. We are part of this really great gym that we absolutely love, so that's why we haven't cut it out of our lives quite yet. But it is $240 a month for us to go, and so that is...
It's painful because we love it, but it's just not a great, for us, it's not a great use of, because we're trying to save everything we can. We have a gym in our garage, so it's like we can do everything here for free.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. We're working through the emotional decision of that.
Yes.
Another thing, which I don't regret, but it wasn't a financial win by any means, is that I went for a wine certification, which was awesome, and we both enjoyed that, but it resulted in purchasing a lot of wine from different regions of the world, which ended up being thousands of dollars in wine that you just drink and nothing, I mean, don't get anything out of it except the letters after my name if I want, which is fun.
Yes, so our alcohol budget has dropped significantly since the beginning of the year whenever he was going through his wine certification, where we were spending, I think it was over $1,000 a month.
Oh yeah, it was
easy.
like $300 a week. So
that was not necessarily the smartest decision in the world.
And then finally, eating out. So we've never been really big on eating out. We enjoy cooking meals here, and that has worked to our financial gain in the past. But when we did eat out, we would eat out big.
Yes, so we love sushi. Every single member of this little family of 4 loves sushi. Even Jennings, although he does get the avocado roll, so he's not quite adventurous yet. But so our eating out would look more like maybe $150 for one meal. So that wasn't exactly the smartest choices in the world.
Now when we eat out, so we only used to eat out maybe once a week or maybe 3 times a month, which wasn't horrible, but at $150 kind of minimum every time we go out, that's still a lot. Now we eat out about once a month, and it's either with gift cards or we maybe don't get drinks with that, and it's maybe a fast food, fast casual restaurant, so it's more like $40, $45 for the 4 of us rather than the $150.
I really miss sushi.
So those are our biggest financial mistakes. Thanks so much for helping us stay accountable to ourselves. This has been a very embarrassing video.
Yeah, and next week we will get out of this depressing slump of all of our mistakes, and we'll talk about our financial wins.
All right, so thanks so much for watching. This has been incredibly embarrassing. Just for that, if you could hit that like button, that would really help us get out there a little more so other people can see our dumb mistakes.
Thanks, and have a great day.